All right, good afternoon, cyber traders. Welcome on back here this Wednesday, June 14th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern. Great to see all of our students and members still with us here post-Fed meeting and post-Fed decision with that. Actually, it's the infamous Levitan Powell joint press conference going on here right now. So great to have Grant, Ray, Alex, Andrea, Jith just before, and a few more of us. I jokingly say that, of course, though, because we have Jerome Powell at the same time right here. A little competition at 2:30 Eastern. So we'll see the market shake up once again based off whatever the hell he has to say. Now with that though, hey, going into the day today, we were assuming that we were going to see the rates paused, basically unchanged, not hiked up again. So the one thing I was thinking, and it's just one person's opinion, and there's no hey, I definitely had this right or whatever, but it's just if you thought the markets were overextended going into this week, well, even if the rates remain unchanged, perhaps there's a better chance of the markets pulling back. So that was just simply my opinion. I had posted that at like 12:06. We were talking about that in the audio commentary earlier this morning. I said we'll see if my prediction of rate pause equals market dump off will happen. Thought the markets were overextended even before the CPI from yesterday. So just even here, they were making lower highs, even beginning from 12 p.m. onwards. So once the decision was announced, we ended up seeing a big drop off right away. And with that, obviously, a lot of different stocks dropping off with the market. So this is the type of afternoon, folks, that I would say focus on a couple of good side list stocks. We're going to look to scan the market here coming up for those. So there's a couple of trades I already have in my back pocket that I want to put on our watch list, at least to begin. Let's just jump right to one of our favorite side list stocks, PLTR, Palantir, down nearly 3% already, at this point. It was kind of unchanged going into the market open, kind of like barely down, barely up a little bit, but ended up just pulling back a little bit further after the Fed made their decision and could be a good short. So if we happen to see continuation within the market drop off here, perhaps the SPY ready to pull back down closer to that 432 that we were talking about. And that was the last resistance that it broke over. I'm like, oh shoot, wow, like this thing's really going. So perhaps there's a better chance we'll see it break lower towards there, and Palantir could be a good short. So with that, at least for right now, don't mind just putting PLTR on our main list. I could say the same with AI as well. AI is doing a pretty good job holding over my big support here off of 41.16. Hey, if the markets keep breaking, this is just going to go with it too. It's hard to borrow my platform, but you could at least buy puts on this if you're trading options. And then with that, PLTR is the more tradable equity. So I'd rather focus on PLTR if you're trading the stock, given the spread, given the volume out there. But both will be volatile enough to keep an eye on altogether. So I'll just do that. Then what else did we have? Okay, so I didn't mention this one in the chat verbally or in the chat via text just up until right now. This is the first time I'm saying it. But actually, there was some interesting, unusual options activity on Coinbase. And it was big out of the money puts. It got hit at like 1:30 in the afternoon. I noticed this on my Benzinga Pro. Actually, let's see if I could pop this up for us here. Check this. At least this I got going today. So where do we have this? Might have to kind of reconfigure this. Coin big out of the money put. You don't want to just judge it off of one transaction, but there were a couple that came in otherwise. This is a larger filter that I'm using here, but there were some larger out of the money puts on Coinbase, and it was interesting. It was just like at 137, just a mere 22 minutes before the Fed. So you'd like to think that somebody knows something. And the thing with that is that their strike price is at like $35. So perhaps there could be a little bit more room on the way down for a stock like Coinbase. Dropped off really well heading into this meeting and then just started to make a small bounce. So I'll come back to this, put this on our side list for right now, definitely, and just come back to this at the end of the meeting. If it shows more direction on the way down, holding under 53, then I'll be more inclined to follow it. All right, so folks, this is where I say, for any of our students here, guys and gals, we got to make sure that we're sticking to the basics. Go back to phase one. Go back to tradable, not tradable. For a stock that is already up or already made the type of move that Wet G made here, WETG, stock went from 8 to damn near 25. It dumped off already. This move is done. There is zero point in trying to follow this. It might be easy to say that looking at how flat it is, but that question was asked maybe 20 minutes ago. Well, look at what it's been doing a couple hours even before that question was asked. So if it ain't moving up, it's not worth watching. If it doesn't have a good spread, if it doesn't have good liquidity, odds are, unless if it's trending up, it's not worth watching. And especially looking at this thing, it's flat as can be. You don't want to be gambling, folks. I mean, for anyone that's finding trouble finding consistency with making profits with us, throughout the week, then I would say definitely just keep away from it. A trade like this. And hell, if this ends up making some wacky pop just as we go through, I could not care any less. We'll see a second wind type of move at some point in time, but it ain't worth it, folks. It's not worth it. First off, follow the market. Second off, follow the liquidity, right? If there's no big money trading on a stock like this, then there's no point in us following it. That's our whole MO. You got to follow the big money. So with that, same to be said here. LAES. I don't think we even called this one out. I didn't see it in the chat board even. So thankfully, we move on from that. Now, this next trade was grinding on up across the afternoon. I wasn't a fan of even at the pace of the trend. I thought it would be a more volatile move back up like it made from the morning session, but this has good liquidity. It has very good liquidity. The whole time, this thing's been on like a 1 to 2 cent spread. So when Sam was calling this out earlier, I was like, okay, hey, there's a chance this can go. It's tradable. So it hasn't totally dumped off just yet. For right now, I'll put this on our main list, and also actually from TradeStation here, it is easy to borrow. If this ends up breaking lower, this actually could be a good short, but let's focus on the move up first. Same to be said here, BWV, it's like wet G. It's the same exact trade. Stock already moved up and down already. It's flat. There's no point in trying to follow it, even if it does have good volume like it does here, right? And that's only like a fraction of the equation. Same to be said here. All right, we'll keep it going. I actually didn't mean to click on this solo. A little move up right now, cheapy stock, but we'll come back to it, I guess, if we really need to. Lisa already made its move up and down. Not really too interested in that. And folks, why am I a little firm when I say that? Well, it's because I see a lot of us in class with me, and it's not to say that you should know it, but it's to say I'm trying to prevent you from getting burned, from you ripping your hair out. Like, oh, shoot, I took this big loss on a stock that's just a complete gamble. I'll keep it going, though. What else we got here? I mean, markets are trying to bounce here. Ended up actually not breaking lower at the time just yet. I feel like 435 is going to be a really strong level to focus on, at least across this afternoon. If it holds under that, then we'll get the drop lower, closer towards that 432 I had mentioned a moment ago. All right, so I got a bunch of crap on the gainer side here, really. I mean, if there's anything else looking good on the way up, just type it in the chat board. Just let me know briefly here, folks. Then we'll hop over to the loser side. Perhaps some good shorts, ready to see a lower high made. Bunch of crap, hard to borrow, if anything, on this side to begin. OCUL, hey, nice drop off at least going into the day from the morning, lower highs and broke lower heading into 1 o'clock. Not really trading a whole lot of volume per minute. Just definitely needs a nice kick in order for this to really sink lower. Tradable, but even this, I just feel like, for right now, I'll put this on the side. Not a great need to focus on that for right now. Stitch Fix, wacky drop off there off the Fed, but that's all there. Now, Affirm. Now, this is a more active stock. This is not to say expensive at all, actually. I mean, just a little more expensive than that cheapy $3, $4, $5 trade where there's more room to see a drop. So made already a big drop heading into the day today, down nearly 11% right now, trying to spike back up. But like I said, this could be a lower high building here. So AFRM makes the list, potential stock that can go with the market either way. I'd say namely on the way down. PDSB, not a great need for this one either. All right, so let me know if there's anything else looking good, folks. I'll just go through my side list, if anything. We already have Palantir and AI from there on it. I mean, we don't need to add every stock at least on there, but see if there's anything looking good. Dave & Buster's from yesterday, just a little expensive, but nice drop. Actually, it's not really trading a whole lot of volume per minute, only about like 3 or so thousand shares a minute. Nice trend. SQ for my side list trades a little bit more volume there, but Actually, nice bounce off 63. If this is the lower high from where it just dipped prior to that at 63.50-ish, then wouldn't be a bad stock to keep on your side list. AMD with a nice reversal, at least for the meantime, moving back up towards 127. Oh my God, NVIDIA, not everything is tanking right now, folks. Holy smokes, NVIDIA with a crazy reversal right back on up towards the highs. And, we were calling this out earlier, just breaking all-time highs, this morning. So, yep, this right away goes back on our watch list here, NVIDIA. And then at that, hey, how about Intel? Intel was really strong today. Lewis, one of our students, was all over that trade. And actually, I don't mind it. INTC, we'll put back on our watch list. Hey, if the markets make a really strong recovery at this stage and we don't get a lower high, then perhaps we could see some good longs then. I'm trying to be a pessimist first. And then if I fail to get that break lower, then we'll try and focus on a full recovery there. All right, so for all of us on YouTube, Facebook Live, all of our social media streams here, let me know if there's anything else that I had missed, but I'll type my email here at the end to josh@ctutrading.com. Any questions or trades that you'd want to go over with me on the side. I wrote back to a couple of us from yesterday in Traders Talk, including a couple of us that just joined us from YouTube, so welcome aboard. But with that said, there's a couple more actually I didn't have a chance to write back to, so if you are tuning in, you didn't get an email back from me in regards to one of your questions, I'm checking my emails just as soon as we finish up the day today. It has been a busy day. Even though the markets were quiet prior to the Fed, still trying to, follow a few different trades, the AI, the PLTR mainly, and those ended up just going the other way before the Fed announced. So, now at this stage, just after the close, I'll get back to all of us from email. Sam asking about Unity. Yeah. Dropped off a lot, Sam. Remember, we want stocks near the highs or lows right now at this point. PLTR was trending down at the low of the day when we were kind of looking at it during the meeting. AI was also right there as well. So, at least those we'll keep on our list in case if they end up making lower highs. U is tradable, but if you're looking for another move back up, I just think that it's too far off from the highs for like a crazy bullish run back up. That's all. Folks, I would keep much more of a focus. This is a blanket statement, not directed to any one person. This is just a generalized public statement for all of our students here, especially when Fausto is posting. Fausto is a 35-plus year pro of doing the same song, same dance every day. And myself, well, I'm going on 9 years, barely called out sick. So it's to say that for the posts that we're making, you don't need to try and find the next move, folks. Don't try and dig deep with your shovel when we're doing the digging ourselves. Follow the call outs, follow the traders and educators in the room mainly. And then, hey, if there's nothing moving and we're at desperate times, then try and dig deep yourself. But don't try and have a need to find the next big mover when there's already plenty of trades out there that are making a nice run that we're already calling out. All right, so that's just blanket statement, folks. But with that, we're going to wrap up here for the meantime. So for all of us on YouTube, Facebook Live, all of our social streams, enjoy the rest of the day today. If you're interested in joining us inside our live trading room, hey, we like to have our traders' backs here. So if you're interested in learning more, go right down to the link on the green banner below just to get yourself set up, just on a small trial. But for Sam, Grant, Kathleen, Jith, Andrea, and all of us here live, Rich will be back on the mic at least at 3 o'clock. I'll be in the chat board up until 3:30, and we'll see what else is out there. Talk to you all then.